What's up? This is BoxingWave. It's early in the morning. I saw the fight last night. I was at my dad's, so I wasn't able to do a video until today. You know, I would have did a video right after the fight. But thank God I was at his house because I didn't have to pay for it. I was a little unsure whether or not I was going to pay for it, being that the Carlos Molina Jamel Charlo fight didn't go down. Alright, but let me get down into this fight. I picked Alfredo Angulo to win. I actually put money on it. I was that sure that Angulo was going to shine in the second half of this fight. I didn't think, you know, and a lot of this is based on the fight that I seen with Lara. I mean, if this fight happened before that fight happened, I would have definitely thought Canelo would win the fight. But judging on Angulo's performance against Arislandi Lara, I thought Angulo, the bigger, not saying that he's a stronger fighter, but I thought his size and his work rate was going to be too much against Canelo Alvarez. It was just going to be too much. And I respect it, you know. I thought a lot of people, even if, you know, the few people that I know that thought Canelo would win the fight. I mean, he was the favorite to win the fight. I mean, he was supposed to win the fight. Even the people that I thought, you know, that thought Canelo would win the fight, they respected it, you know. A lot of people thought that, you know what, Angulo might give Canelo trouble in the second half of the fight if he doesn't knock Angulo out early. So this is my take on the fight, all right? I thought right away there was a difference between the power of Canelo Alvarez and Arislandi Lara in their fight right away. Even like I think I seen a hook where Canelo hit Angulo and Angulo just kind of flew back. You know, you just hear it, you just felt it, you could just see the power difference. Angulo was a little bit wary about, you know, being aggressive like he was against Lara. All right, Lara, you know, he's more of a sharpshooter. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. He clearly doesn't have the power that Canelo has. Canelo came in at 170. This guy could fight, you know, he could be, you know, damn near light heavyweight, you know. So I thought it was clear right away the difference in power and strength. I think Canelo looked a lot stronger. He bullied Angulo. I knew Canelo was going to win the first 3, 4, 5 rounds maybe. And I thought if Canelo wasn't going to stop him early, that Angulo was going to give him trouble. Angulo just wasn't Angulo. You know, I respect Canelo's performance, but at the same time, Angulo looked extremely slow. He looked like he ran 26 miles before the fight. You know, I mean, he's never been fast at all. But his punches was just like, he wasn't doing anything, you know. And then when he was throwing, he was hitting Canelo's gloves for the most part, you know. He was really not efficient at all, you know. It just wasn't a good performance. And, you know, a lot of people are judging. You know, I went on Twitter, I was tweeting throughout the fight, and a lot of people were judging Canelo. Oh, he's fighting, of course he's fighting Angulo, of course this is going to happen, of course he's going to destroy him. You know, he's not fighting guys like Lara. He didn't do that against Mayweather. Well, the problem with those two fighters is that they move. You know, they're quick on their feet, they move their head. They're not like Angulo that just walks straight forward. But I think, you know, as far as the stoppage is concerned, Tony Weeks stopped the fight prematurely. Okay, was he wrong for it? I was shocked. I was surprised. It was a premature stoppage, but Angulo was doing absolutely nothing to convince me that he had a chance of coming back in that fight. I don't even think I gave him a round. I mean, if you want to give him that one round where Canelo kind of took a break and he was against the ropes and he was just letting Angulo swing without punching back, if you want to give Angulo that round, fine. But it was clear to me that Canelo did not respect him. He didn't respect his punching power. Canelo was rolling, slipping a lot of them punches. And he looked great. You gotta respect him. You gotta respect him. I mean, that's probably one of the most dominating performances I've seen against Angulo. I mean, you can count Kirkland, but I think, me personally, I think there was a shutout, complete destruction of Angulo. I mean, he just didn't have anything. But I picked him to win, and I thought I gave a fair assessment on why I thought he was going to win. Like I said, I think I said I put money up for the fight, being that Canelo was a 5-1 favorite. So anyway, as far as what's next, let me speak on the stoppage again. I don't think it's that much of a big deal like people are making it. This ain't the fight between Mike. I mean, this isn't Carl Froch, George Groves stoppage. You know what I'm saying? The fight wasn't really that competitive. It wasn't at all to me. It wasn't. It was just a beatdown. It was a beatdown. It wasn't a competitive fight. We seen what happened with Mike Perez and Madone. I forgot his name. But we seen what happened in that fight. The fight wasn't stopped because this guy kept fighting. He didn't go down. He was taking a lot of punishment and he didn't give up. But look, he went into a coma. You know what I'm saying? Mike Perez almost beat this man to death. So I feel like Angulo was taking just as much punishment. I mean, he was still coming forward and throwing punches, but they weren't effective. I'm sure Canelo really wanted to. He could have probably landed 100% of his punches if he really wanted to fight that way. All right, but he made the fight entertaining. He was throwing wild punches at times, but he did good. And you gotta respect him. He beat Trout. He beat Angulo. I mean, these are two official 154-pound fighters. I know he didn't fight Lara yet, but you gotta give him some credit here. You guys are just bashing him. He didn't do that against Floyd Mayweather. Well, guess what? No one's beaten Floyd Mayweather. So what? The guy fought Floyd when he was 22 years old. Give him some kind of credit for beating a guy that Lara almost lost to. I thought Lara was down a round in that fight that they had with Angulo when the fight was stopped. Okay, so give him some respect. He beat Trout as well. He knocked Trout down. It was a close fight, but I thought Canelo won the fight. So as far as the future now, I obviously want to see Canelo fight Lara more than anything. Okay, and Lara really wants this fight. He's been wanting it for a long time. A lot of fans want the fight. I hope the fight happens. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen because I'm assuming Canelo is gonna wait to see the winner of the Martinez fight. That would be a bigger money fight. But I would like to see him fight Lara before that. Lara, or I know he has 3 dates set up, so I hope the second date he fights Lara, and I hope the third date later in the year he fights the winner of Cotto Martinez, unless Martinez wins and he goes on to fight Triple G. All of those fights are good fights. But I would like to see Lara next. I want to see Lara next. These guys, Lara fought Trout. He looked better against Trout. Canelo fought Angulo now, and he looked better against Angulo. So let's get it on. These are 2 guys. These guys been around for some time now. 154. There's a lot of young, hungry fighters like the Charlo twins. You got Demetrius Andrade. You got a lot of other guys that's coming up too. But these guys been around for a little bit now, and I'm ready to see them fight. You know, Lara and Canelo Alvarez. Another person somebody brought up to me on my Twitter account, James Kirkland. I mean, I guess they can have the fight. Me personally, and I've said this off the record. Me and USA MVP talk boxing all the time. Me and him both agree that Kirkland would get knocked out early. I would have told you this before this fight. I think Kirkland wouldn't get well against Canelo. I think Kirkland did well against Angulo. You know, I know he beat Angulo. You know, I know he has a high work rate too, but I don't think he's as durable as Angulo. And I think if Canelo were to hit Kirkland the way that he was hitting Angulo last night, I think he would put Kirkland to sleep early. All right, that's just my personal opinion. I really don't want to see that fight. But if it happens, it'll just look good on Canelo, and then people will bash him for not fighting Lara again. You know, let's just see the fight with Lara. Like, let's see the fight that everybody wants to see. And even if he were to lose, I still think that fight would be a close fight. You know, I think Lara would win that fight, but I think it would be a competitive fight. You know, I respect both of them as boxers. And I think that wouldn't be such a horrible loss if Canelo lost that fight. You know, I think he would still be a tough fight for anyone at 154. You know, so Kirkland not really interested in seeing. Like I said, I already brought up the Cotto fight. I think Cotto win or lose against Martinez. I think the Cotto fight would be a good fight, big money fight, depending on Cotto. You know, actually depends on Cotto's. I mean, if Cotto gets absolutely destroyed, I don't think people will want to see the fight between him and Canelo as much. But, you know, that's just my personal opinion. So I just, you know, for everybody that's watching, you got to give, you know, I picked Angulo to win. I wanted Angulo to win the fight. But you got to give Canelo his respect, man. He's beating people. He lost to Floyd, but so what? You know, everyone lost to Floyd. You know, at least everyone that Floyd has fought lost. So give him his respect. You know, and he still had plenty of room for improvement. He's only 23 years old. As far as him going up in weight, I think eventually he's gonna have to. You know, he's gonna have to. Didn't make weight. You know, didn't make weight. So I think he has to go up in weight. So. Yeah, so that's my opinion, my assessment on the fight. As far as Angulo, you know, I don't think he needs to retire. Me personally, I just don't think he looked good in this fight. He looked tired from the get-go. Okay, he just didn't look strong in there, regardless of Canelo's impact on him. He just didn't look strong. You know, I think there's plenty of, you know, I think he would be a good gatekeeper. I mean, he could fight Austin Trout. You know, these guys have fought the same guys. These guys never been in the ring together. So him and Austin Trout should be a good fight. They can do that. There's plenty of other guys there too. It's like, you know, plenty of other guys that's moving up, coming up. Angulo would look better against. You know, not last night wasn't Angulo's fight. You know, it just wasn't his night. And shout out to Canelo for getting that win. All right, so you know, leave comments and let me know what you guys think on the fight, and let me know who you want to see Canelo fight next. Okay, most of you probably gonna say Lara, but if not Lara, who else would you like to see Canelo fight? All right, leave comments. Peace.